This is Laura Camas, and I'm a collaborator of the Revista Internacional de Teoría e Investigación Educativa. And we are doing a series of interviews with authors that publish in our journal, right? So today we have here one of these authors. We are here with Marit Honerød, and we are here to have a conversation about how was the paper that you just published in our journal. Mm-hmm. So yeah, your article is entitled Learning to Teach, a Reflective Approach to Practice and Theory. Mm-hmm. So in your article, one of your starting points is that, and I quote, society needs to relearn and teacher education needs to teach how to trust teacher, unquote. But why have we stopped trusting teachers? And in your opinion, what is the value of trusting teacher in education?
It's a big question, and a question that would take much to elaborate. There's a lot of things happening over the at least last 30, 20 years in relation to teachers, which have, in a way, brought the trust from. It's a lot to do with the being accountable question in terms of education, and many have written on that. I don't go into a lot in my article why it has happened, because it's just stating it has happened. I think it's important, very important, because trust is paramount in teaching, and teachers need to trust students, and we need to trust teachers. If we lose that trust, many things will happen in education that I think are detrimental to the core value of education in society.
Right, yeah, and you also mentioned something about being responsible, right, in the article. But people can have a look directly to the paper.
Yes, please read.
Yeah, read the article, that's why we are here doing this interview. So one of the main ideas you propose in your article is the didactical triangle, right? Mm-hmm. And you propose a figure, right, between where the corners are teachers, students, or pupils, and content, right? Mm-hmm. Could you please tell us more about this model?
Well, for anybody who is acquainted with pedagogic and didactics, you will know the didactical triangle because it's used in many ways. My approach to it is a reflexive approach, meaning I am trying to look at the core aspects of teaching and learning in relation to a content, between student, teachers, and the content, in a relational way, saying that there are, if we just start looking at this kind of simple model, and then start reflecting on all the relations embedded in this model, and in these relations that are in teaching and learning, you see how complex it is. And it's not, we're used to talking about the relation between teachers and students, and that teachers matter and all that, but you cannot leave out the content, and you cannot leave out teachers' relation to the content, the students' relations to the content, etc. And this, for me, in a way, is just to show how complex teaching is, and I think we need reminding of that often.
So interesting, yeah. You also talk about the importance of students being reflective practitioners, right? Yeah. Also, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd like to. Yeah. Well, not correct you, but I guess that's what teachers do. But yes, it's a reflective in terms of being reflective, but I am talking about a practice that is reflexive. And that's important.
Instead of reflective. And you mentioned that in the article. Yeah. And now that I remember.
They are, both is there, but the reflexive is about your doing, what you do in the classroom. And it's a model for me when I talk about later on about collegial coaching in the article. It's about how you develop a way of speaking and working with what you do as a teacher.
So this language that you mentioned,
so
right?
It has to do with language, but it also has to do with how you can get in touch with what happens, what you do in the here and now when you teach.
Right, so thank you for this clarification. And I want you to talk us more about the role of attentiveness in this approach?
Yeah.
Because you specifically mentioned that. Yeah.
And I think just the way into it is that teaching was something that happens in the here and now. A lot of things go on before and after teaching, but teaching is what happens here and now. And a teacher needs to be attentive, and there's a lot that theoretically and philosophically go into attentiveness. One important aspect of it is being able to listen. And listen is something you do, of course, with your ears, but you do it with your whole body. It's a way of being sensitive to all the things that happen in the classroom. And I think this is something that teachers need to learn and work with continually, because it's very easy to become distanced from what happens here and now. And teachers need to be in the here and now.
Interesting, yeah. So, and finally, just to kind of summarizing also our interview, I really would like you to tell us more about this. I think there is a last section where you talk about the model of collegial coaching in reflective teaching teams. Sorry. So, can you please tell us a little bit more about it?
I addressed this at the end of my article, and I always, the way when I've done it, there's too little scope to do it. I've done this several times with teachers, so it's a model set up for teachers to work on practices, things that they do in the classroom, and being able to kind of dig into them and discuss them. So it's in a way a protocol to do it, which is based on where you use listening and being able to listen how others interpret what you do. And I find that that's something that we, as maybe both as academics, as teachers, are not so used to. We're used to interpreting ourselves and then telling how we think, but here it's about also learning, but how do others interpret what I'm doing? Because in that way you can gain a more comprehensive outlook on what happens in that classroom. How come that student in the back there isn't put his hood over his head and is not participating at all? You need to be able to interpret that. There are reasons he acts in that way, which might not have to do with you, but a lot of other things that happen. But being able to open that room for interpretation and understanding of what happens, all the things that happen in the classroom, because they affect the teaching and learning process.
So interesting. Well, so I really would like to thank Marit for this wonderful interview, and also I really would like to encourage all our readers to read Marit's article, because this has been only a very small piece of everything that she actually developed. So thank you so much, Marit.
And thank you for this interview. And if anybody is interested in developing anything with me or have questions, please feel free to contact me.
Okay, thank you so much. And see you in the next interview.